Apollo 8, Houston.
Go ahead, Houston.
Apollo 8, you are Go For TLI. Over.
Roger, understand. We're Go For TLI.
Go For TLI. Translunar injection. Those are words we haven't heard in a while, but they were the words used during the Apollo missions to the moon that sent humankind on its greatest adventure to date. And if all goes as planned for tomorrow morning's launch of Artemis I, NASA will be issuing that command to a moon-bound spaceship for the first time in almost a half a century. Today's artifact dates back to Apollo 8, the first time the Go For TLI command was issued to a manned spacecraft. It's a super cool space-age relic with a history-making backstory all of its own. Are you ready to take a look at this installment's offering? Yes, you say? Well, away we go. Hello collectors and space fans, I'm Jim Frangione and welcome to episode number 22 of Takin Up Space, the place where space history lives and where every artifact tells a story, where we seek to preserve vintage artifacts, reveal their history, and in doing so, hopefully inspire some of you and the next generation of space explorers to take on pursuits relating to science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. If you're as passionate as I am about the history of spaceflight or the collecting and preservation of space-age ephemera, be sure to click on the subscribe button and notification bell down below so that you don't miss out on a single episode. And if you're really digging what you see here, you can also receive additional content by following me on Instagram at Jim_TakinUpSpace. Okay, confession time. I don't know about you, but when I visit a new home or the home of a friend or relative, I always enjoy taking a look at the surroundings. I find that homes often reveal a lot about the story of their occupants. Now, I'm not talking about anything creepy like looking into closets or medicine cabinets. Far from it. But the things out publicly on shelves and hanging on walls are things one can't help but notice. Books on shelves, records and CDs in one's music collection are always intriguing to me. But nothing fascinates me more than finding an old map behind glass hanging on a wall. And depending on the age, the colors and fonts used, and the story behind what's depicted, some maps can be a downright work of art, and every bit as informative as a book. After all, there's a reason they say that a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? While the map I'm about to share with you is less a work of art in the conventional sense and more of a practical engineering chart, the Galilean and Keplerian ballet it depicts, in scientific terms of orbital mechanics, is a thing of beauty. The map I have here is a vintage Apollo Translunar Trans-Earth plotting chart that was used during the mission of Apollo 8, humankind's very first journey to the moon and back. For more on that mission, check out episode 15 where we tell the story of reaching the moon at Christmas in the year of 1968. For my money, it's still one of the most fascinating stories in all of human history, let alone spaceflight history. But back to this chart. You'll see the Earth at the center, the position of the moon by date encircling in the outermost ring, and concentric circles in between them noting the distance between the Earth and the moon in nautical miles. Other noted points of interest are the relative locations, dates, and mission elapsed time markers for key milestones like launch, translunar injection, lunar orbit insertion, trans-Earth injection, and landing. We also see in color the path of the translunar and trans-Earth coasts. As there was no landing to be attempted on Apollo 8, this was obviously one of the shortest stays at the moon that daringly proved our capability to get there and back safely. Future missions would get progressively more complex, make landings, and stays on the surface would grow from hours to days. Comparing the plotting charts of Apollo 8 to that of another in my collection from Apollo 15, we can see this clearly simply by looking at the difference in the angular distance between translunar and trans-Earth coasts. Apollo 8 orbited the moon 10 times in just under 1 day, while Apollo 15 was on station at the moon for 74 orbits over 6 days, which also included a 3-day stay on the surface for astronauts Dave Scott and Jim Irwin. For me, both of these charts pack a lot of punch. They fire my imagination to no end to look at them, just knowing they were actually used and took part in the history that was the Apollo program. That, along with the story that they tell about humankind's first journeys and explorations of the moon, make these artifacts among the most effective tools in sharing that story with students, scouts, and young adults. Just looking at them and understanding them makes a compelling case for what could be theirs if they opt to pursue interests relating to science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. A nice little aha moment for certain. The catchphrase for Project Artemis is, "We are going." The question is, will you be a part of the journey? And that's a wrap for today, my friends and fellow space enthusiasts. I hope you've enjoyed seeing this vintage chart from the Apollo 8 mission and learning about what it depicts, what makes it a historically significant artifact, and what makes it a compelling tool to inspire the Artemis generation. I know I've enjoyed taking a fresh look at this as we prepare for the Artemis I mission and humanity's return to the moon. These are definitely great times to be a fan of space exploration. As we've said in previous episodes, the Renaissance is upon us in space. And for the younger generation and younger folks watching this, the opportunities to be a part of history's next chapter are growing by the day if one pursues their interests in science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. I hope that this episode and the others here on Taking Up Space are inspiring you to do so. As always, thanks a million for tuning in today. If you've enjoyed this installment, please give it a thumbs up down below and feel free to let me know what your thoughts are by dropping me an email at jim.takingupspace@gmail.com. And don't forget to check out my additional content on Instagram at Jim_takingupspace. Through either channel, I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, collectors and space fans, keep your heads held high and keep your eyes on the stars.